So much better. It feels really unique too. I don't know if you guys can see some of the flexibility of this. I gotta say, good on KBDFans. I don't think I've ever seen a brand kind of redo some in-stock boards this quickly. And I gotta say, it was really refreshing seeing KBDFans kind of give us a revision 2 of a board that we criticized. We legitimately were just like, yeah, like I made a video saying, I don't know how I feel about this board. And I am so happy because this board here, it looked cool and I was so pumped up for it. If you guys remember, I was legitimately so happy to get this board. When we saw the internals, I think it was a unanimous letdown. Like we all looked at it and we said, well, damn, we are disappointed. I really think this is a good change. This one here is the polycarbonate version. These are about $245. I don't know if they've just simply replaced all of the old ones or if they're just redoing. No, there's only the one still. I'll double check to see because on their product website, it still shows that it's using the old silicone. So I'll actually message them afterwards and figure out if they're just shipping now with the new parts. Because I didn't realize to ask that. I just assumed they'd update the website. So we'll figure it out. But it should still be around $245. This polycarbonate one looks super nice. If this sounds really good, I'm gonna give this whole board. I'm gonna have to redo the video, everything, because this is the redemption arc, hopefully, for the Margo. What a good looking keyboard. It has low front height. It has a good attractive shell. I really hope this sounds good, guys. I love the shell on the shell. Truthfully, yes. I also like the shell on the shell. The shell accent is PC. I don't know, I really like this board. I know the design might not be for everyone, but I don't know, I think it's nice. I'm so pumped for this. Again, it has that stepped internals. We have a little bit of the weight. I like how the weight's kind of peeking out right underneath the space bar as well. That should help diffuse some of that sound as well. Damn, this looks really pretty. So what did they give us today? We have a polycarbonate plate. Actually, is this the CEM PCB? It's a really pretty PCB, actually. Version 1 had a big problem. The big problem was the only way to mount the PCB assembly was you needed to use silicone that sat between the plate and PCB. It did not sound very good. We ended up taking it apart. We ended up putting our own gaskets in, and it was just like a messy build. Like it didn't work properly because I had to kind of like MacGyver some gaskets together. It had potential to be good, but it just didn't sound good. And again, the main point of criticism was they used a really, and I hate using this, it wasn't truly a dated internal mounting system. However, it was an internal mounting system that nobody really liked. And they just recycled it and got lazy from a previous board, which was the KBD 67 Lite. So recycled internals on a new shell. My criticism to that was, why even bother making a new shell? And some people said, well, maybe it was to get rid of some of the old PCB assemblies. And I thought, well, that's just lazy. And it clearly has the capacity to do something better here, but they're just not doing it. Introducing now, they've given us basically these silicone tabs that sit around the plate, which is a much smarter idea, which is what I said they should have done from the beginning. Because they had that capacity to do that, but they never did. And it was such a simple change that I was just shocked that they never did that. So good for them. Good for them for making a change here. Good for them to actually listening to, it wasn't just me, it was everyone here who had the same criticism. But yes, the major change is really just the way they're mounting things now. And again, I don't know if this is going to sound good. I'm hoping this sounds good, but we'll find out. The original Margo had the tabs on the plate, so I don't see why these wouldn't work. I'm just happy because I really liked the way this board looked. And it's just nice when people listen to criticism and feedback. The bottom's really nice. And they have some like patinaed versions if you don't want a polycarbonate unit. And I think they even put force brake stickers too. Very, very nice PCB. That is a beautiful color. I think this is going to look great in the case too. Ooh, this is exciting. I like the silkscreen on the PCB too. It matches the design on the back of the board. They use CEM1, correct? Yes, yes. It says in the website, it's CEM1. I don't really know a huge difference in CEM1 versus CEM3. I believe this might be my first ever CEM1 PCB. It looks like a 1.6, I want to say. All right, then we got a plate. It does have standoffs though. All right, well, I'm already seeing a small little fault here then. It has standoffs, but these standoffs are kind of pointless because there's nothing to stand off in this. You're right, I think we have to build it plateless, but what's the point of having this then? Let's build this plateless. I think that'll be fun. And let's use marshmallow switches. I think marshmallow switches plateless or it's gonna sound really cool. Yeah, I think this might be sent in error, because this doesn't even make sense, because why would you want to put standoffs on a PCB that doesn't have room for that? It would just rattle. I think this plate was either put in the box in error, or it's just the wrong part. I don't agree with the plate. Ooh, this is a very firm fitting PCB, and I like that. The PCB is fire. I'm so pumped for this right now. You will have to kind of hand align this for the Margo, which I think that can be kind of perceived as a small inconvenience. We'll see how bad that really is as we get to that point. Okay, they sent me 2 sets of these, by the way. There's 2 different colors in here, and I'm not too sure if they're 2 different densities of plastic, like 2 different barometer ratings here. So I guess we'll have to find out. Do they feel different? I have no idea. I'm gonna use the non-blue ones. So these little legs, these little seats, latch into these little slots on the side for the Margo. Actually, this is a cool idea. We can put as many of these as we please wherever we want along these rails. That is actually really cool. This really does give you a whole crap ton of freedom to do whatever you want, because you can technically put like a seat here as well as a seat here and then 2 seats here. Yeah, I appreciate these internals. These are really cool. So technically I don't have to worry about mounting points on the spacebar, or I can if I really want the spacebar to be a bit more firm. So we can even just put like our mounting points here. That's kind of fun. I really appreciate that. I don't know if this is enough. And these just lay down on this. Okay, so I do see what they mean. This does shimmy back and forth. What I think KBDFans would need to do to make this a better unit, because it does have to lock into place with this little USB-C hole over here. I think they would need to kind of figure out a way to, yeah, it does kind of shimmy, huh? They would need to figure out a way to better align things. I'm just trying to figure out how to best lay this down on the PCB here. So these just have to push in like that. Okay, it shimmies a little bit less when you better fit this in. Okay, so I see what they mean. You do have to make sure this aligns with the USB-C hole. We have mounting points away from the spacebar. You can put the mounting points wherever you want, which is really neat. I do want to put 2 more on the ends here because I feel like this is bottoming out. Let's put 2 more at the end because this is really flexy. Let's put 1 here and 1 here. All right, so everything looks like it's aligned. It is still too flexy on this side. I'd like to put this one here a little bit more here. I hope this doesn't interfere with the backspace at all. Much better. Oh, that's fun. It kind of fills in the shell with the PCB color. I like that. That's cool. Okay, that is one thing that I'm going to have to mention to KBDFans for the polycarbonate unit exclusively is I need to see some metal inserts. If you guys want to see, no metal inserts means that will happen. See how it doesn't happen there? You got to be careful. That's exclusive for the polycarbonate version of this board, but I'm surprised they don't have metal inserts. Very small detail to overlook, or maybe even a large detail to overlook, but it's overlooked nonetheless. Right now, here are my thoughts with the board before I put keycaps on. Really like the adjustable mounting system. I like the fact they give you giant rails in which you can choose where the mounting points go. Good on them for reworking this. I don't know if this is compatible with the round 1 of the Margo or the V1s of them. I don't know if I still have it. I guess we'll have to find out. I like how this is also plateless compatible. I'm assuming you probably could use a plate. I don't have a plate for this at the moment, but I'm assuming if you just had a plate with no tabs or anything, a plate would work fine. The polycarb unit is really nice. However, the lack of threaded inserts is always concerning, especially for the longevity of your keyboard. I don't love the fact that people make polycarbonate stuff with no threaded inserts. I feel like it's an oversight, nonetheless of it being small or large. So it is an oversight. You want your polycarbonate, your plastic to not shatter, or you don't want you don't want your threads on your plastic to be worn down because you missed a thread or screwed something in incorrectly. Metal inserts should just be a standard at this point here with all polycarbonate keyboards. But kudos for KBDFans. Kudos to them for for making such what I feel like is a pretty quick change on an in-stock unit. Also, the new PCB is really cool too. I really like the PCB. Good compatibility, CEM1. Let's see what this sounds like. This sounds miles better than the first one already. This is very soft to type on. Holy shit. Kind of a unique sound profile, huh? It sounds good. so much better. It feels really unique too. Like it does have I don't know if you guys can see some of the flexibility of this CEM1 plate. Look at that, how it just kind of flexes on its own on this side. Using the board right now, it does have a lot of feedback, which is interesting. Like the vibrations, if I type here, I can feel them on this hand. That is actually a pretty popular thing, by the way. I know some people who like build F1s, for example. They like that kind of vibrating feedback. Yeah, you can definitely feel the vibrations on this, which is a unique feeling. I don't know if it's for everyone. But yes, you can get some of that feedback back with this. I'm assuming it's just because these silicone chairs, whatever you want to call them, the mounting system here, I don't know if there's an official term for what these are. It doesn't really absorb a lot of the vibrations. Instead, I feel like it kind of transfers it around the entire plate here. Interesting though. It's definitely soft though. You can definitely tell it's soft. The sound profile is quite nice too. I don't mind it. It's not as bright as I thought it was going to be. It's full, has a nice spacebar, although albeit I do think the spacebar is a smidge different than the rest of the keyboard, but maybe that's cool to have some contrast. Way better than the V1. I am so happy they decided to relook at the mounting style for the Margo. I'm so happy they decided to just make some changes. It feels like it was small changes at the end of the day. After this, I think I can now safely say, yeah, the Margo is a good pickup. Before, it was a very tough call. You had to be open to the silicone mount. You had to be open to it being a bit stiffer. You had to be okay with maybe modding it yourself. I finally feel like I can truly recommend this board. Albeit the PC version, as of right now, maybe avoid just because it doesn't have threaded inserts. I will talk to KBDFans about that. Very unique type. A little bit of feedback though. You have to be open to that. Very soft. Cool sound profile. Definitely a lot deeper than I thought it was going to be, but also quite, like, it's a nice, like someone said this is a very concise sound signature with CEM1. It's right there at the top. It does say plateless gaskets have been added since November 6th. So it looks like, yes, you will get the plateless gaskets. They need to get rid of the rest of it because you don't even get the, this is a little misleading then. You don't even get the mute silicone in the box. Yeah, tiny text under the plate. Yeah, I see that. All right, well, good to know. They need to clean up their page a little bit too, but still, Margo finally looking like it's usable now. Again, I'm assuming you can use the plate in this. I don't see why not. All right, how does this sound? PBT. Actually, this looks really good with the PBT caps. I'm not into it. I think the GMK sounded way better. If you guys like it, you guys like it. Hey, we all have personal preferences. That's the beautiful thing about this hobby. Yeah, it's definitely on the lower end of the sound spectrum. Like it's not super bright. This is definitely lower, which I actually really like it on the alphas. I really like the alphas like this. I don't like the spacebar. The alphas sound really good though with the PBT. I got to admit, for this particular board, I'd like to put an ABS spacebar with these PBT alphas. Well, the board's supposed to go for $245, but it seems like there's no option to switch your default plate, or sorry, PCB. So technically, you'd have to buy a second PCB that would cost you an extra $45. So it is a little pricey for this. I'm going to send them a message. I'm going to see if what they say about potentially allowing people to just buy a solderable PCB in place of the default one and see if that costs anything extra. It's a 1.6mm PCB, the one we used today. It's a CEM1 PCB. Very cool though. I think the board looks great. I think they did a great job in trying to really rework the internals here. It looks good. I'm happy they fixed it. I'm happy that it just wasn't a product sitting on a shelf that was just never going to see, you know, some reworking since they'd already made these anyways. Very, very happy. Like, I can't really ask for more. I'm glad they listened to a lot of feedback. It wasn't just from me. There was a lot of people who had feedback about the Margo. Bye, everyone.